Oh, hello there. Welcome to Clint's Cush Core Coffee Conversation.
So, we're going to be talking about some Cush Cores here. And I know what you're thinking. It's Colorado, so it's legal. Not that Cush Core. We're actually talking about tire inserts. And so what a Cush Core actually does is you can see here, I can push the tire down, but I'm not actually able to push this sidewall in at all. And so if you compare that to the front wheel, you can see I can crunch the whole sidewall in. And so what Cush Core does is it pretty much turns your tire and your wheel, the air inside of it, into a suspension chamber, much like you have here. So as you compress the fork, the forces become greater and greater, and it becomes more of an exponential increase as opposed to a linear increase. So this would be like a very slow exponential ramp up, whereas when you have Cush Core installed, it becomes very exponential and goes straight up as you compress the sidewall. Now, you might be thinking, why do I want the exponential curve? Well, you want exponential curve because suspension is always better. Whether suspension is in your tires or on your bike, it's betterer, and that's just science. Now, if you're thinking like, wow, Cush Core, I don't know if I want to deal with that. It's like so hard, like all these nightmares, all this stuff. Well, then you should stay tuned and look at my tips. All right, you ready, Matt?
Yeah, I think so.
Check out how dope these tips are. So, what you're gonna wanna do first to take your Cush Core out is you're gonna wanna take your wheel off. So we'll do that. Okay, wheel is off. You can tell by the way it is. Now, you're gonna wanna pop your bead. So pull out your handy dandy drawer that you have mounted out under your handy dandy desk and grab your handy dandy tire lever. You may or may not have seen Cush Core's tire lever. You can see that there's a pretty big difference here, and you have a nice grip on the Cush Core tire lever. Now this helps a lot, but it's not necessary. You can do it just fine with a normal tire lever. So what you want to do is you get your hook facing into the tire bead, and you want to apply some good downward pressure on it to get this bead to start poking into the rim. Now, as you go round and round, you'll see, so we just got our first big pop there, but you'll see the bead start disappearing into the rim. And once you have that, then you know you are on the right track. So we'll work our way around the whole wheel here, doing a 360-degree circle, also known as just a normal circle. So, now you can see we have our whole bead popped in, which is totally different than this side in which you can see the bead outlined here. So now you have your bead popped in, you want to pry it up, get your tire lever in there. You can just go right around the tire, just like you're pulling a normal tube out. And so right now, we can access the tire. You can see the Cush Core right in here. And so what I'll do is you can either do it like this with your fingers, or you can flip it over. And you just want to push it out just like a normal tube would. Sometimes they can be a little bit finicky, which is what I was hoping for. So this would be where your tire lever comes in. And you can just pop it right up with your tire lever. And so now you have your Cush Core free and out of the tire. Would you look at that? Now that's suspension. So, just to make everything nice, give her a quick clean, little wipe down. You gotta treat her right. So now, we have Cush Core nice and wiped down. You can also see here, see if we can find some impact marks, because Cush Core also does an excellent job at protecting your rim. So you can see right here, there's an impact mark, and that has compressed the Cush Core and protected your rim. So that's a win-win. So now we have our Cush Core out. let's say you just got your Cush Core, you're like, yo, let me throw it in. Oh, it's not working. Well, it's probably because you didn't stretch it out. So, you wanna get a good stretch in there. Think of yourself like Legolas. Guy never runs out of arrows. You never run out of strength for your Cush Core. So if you get this nice and stretched out, the cool thing is it actually pops right into the tire and right around the rim very easily. So we've got it a little bit stretched out. Another good technique to stretch it is just kind of wrap it around something and give it a nice pull. So your Cush Core is stretched out. You have one bead locked in, but the other bead is popped out. And now Cush Core tells you to put the Cush Core on first. But what happens is that as you put the tire on, you end up inevitably pushing the Cush Core off of the rim. So I found this method, which is way easier, and you install it literally just like a tube. So you have one bead pop, the other bead locked in place, and now you just tuck her in. Nice little good night story. Perfect. And so right here, you can see I did stretch it out, but it's still a little bit tight. But because it's stretched out, I should be able to just wiggle it in perfectly with my thumbs. Look at that. Boom. Nice and easy. You can see that the whole Cush Core is locked into place, and you can see that it's flush as opposed to over here where it's not flush, and now it's flush. So unflush, flush. So you just want to go around, make sure that everything is flush on your Cush Core and that it's laying in the rim track. Nice. So we're all set here. We've got it in. So now, where you just grab one part of the bead, you peel the Cush Core back a little bit, get your handy dandy tire lever, and you just start pushing this bead in place. So you can see here, I've got the beads start to go in. We're just gonna work our way right around the tire in one of those nice 360-degree circles, also known as just the normal circle. You can see the tire is starting to get a little bit tight. So this next step, what people commonly do, they're like, oh no, I need more force. So what do? You multiply your tire levers by 3, dude. 3 times the force. False. You don't want to do that. That's a rookie mistake. What you want to do is just like we did in step 1. You want to push this bead back around the whole rest of the tire. And what this does is actually gives you, maybe 3 to 4 millimeters of more tire, and makes the tolerance a little bit less, so you have more flexibility on this part of the rim, and you don't need 3 tire levers. You can do it all with just 1 tire lever. So now we start pushing this in again a little bit. And here is where you grab one spot with the thumb so it doesn't move. You start locking it in. Lock and loaded, baby, just like a Smith & Wesson. And now just one final lock, boom. It's locked in. You still have your original side with the bead still locked in place and your non-bead locked in place side. Now, all you gotta do is just top her off, bud. A little topper-rooney. So, you grab your handy dandy Park Tool INF2. Do an awkward dance move, and we're back. You lock her onto the valve, and you wait for the pop. Boom. Just like that, a little dust cloud. And now, you have suspension in your tire. And that's
Cush Core with Clint.